What's up, everybody? You listen again. A lot of people were asking, does the army really work? The answer is yes. Like, I've been using this army the entire season. Granted, I got a little bit cooked yesterday, but the day just reset. We're still like, what was it? I think we reset like 320 global, just about. So doing pretty good here. And I also had a lot of people asking why Meteor Staff over the Dark Crown. It kind of seems like I'm guessing most people have the Dark Crown leveled up, but not so much the Meteor Staff. I really genuinely believe that the Meteor Staff is just a lot better with this specific army composition than the Dark Crown is. The reason being, since we're running the Angry Jelly with the Minion Prince, the Minion Prince is going to be targeting defenses like the Dragon Riders for the start of the attack. So he charges in, he's clearing out defenses. After that timer runs off on the Angry Jelly and the Minion Prince stops targeting defenses, he starts hanging back. One of the weaker points of this army is the cleanup. We only have Dragon Riders. That's the entire army. The Dragon Riders only target the defenses. So when the Minion Prince hangs back behind the army, he's avoiding damage from all of those defenses, but the Meteor Staff is still going to town, still targeting the defenses. I've had so many attacks throughout Legends League this season in particular, and even some last season, in which my army dies off. Maybe my totem placement wasn't so good throughout the attack, but the Minion Prince is doing cleanup in the very back of the attack, and the Meteor Staff clears all of the rest of the defenses. Maybe some defenses would have taken him out, but the Meteor Staff clears them and it becomes a triple. The other thing is, since the Dragon Riders are so quick and they only target defenses, you clear all of the defenses on the base so fast. I mentioned in the last video, a lot of times the attacks only take like a minute and a half to triple. Sometimes in those attacks where maybe you run out of totems or the Dragon Riders die off, even if all of the defenses aren't cleared away, there's a minute and a half left for the Meteor Staff to cook whatever's left standing, or the super minions that pop out of the siege barracks to cook whatever's left standing. Um, the other thing is, I almost always use the siege barracks. I know people are really liking the flame flinger for setting funnels and things like that. I think the flinger is great for setting funnels. If you're really comfortable with the flame flinger, go with it. Use whatever you're comfortable with. The key factor in Legends League now is just skill. Like Legends League is just so hard. Everybody's complaining about how hard Legends League is. So we're finding all of these new metas, all of these strong armies. You just have to find what works for you and master it. And once you've mastered it, then you'll start tripling in Legends League. I mean, that's what's most important. So I prefer Siege Barracks. I like Siege Barracks because it's good for the funneling. I just like the timing for when the super minions pop out of the Siege Barracks. Um, it's what I know how to use. I don't know how to use the Flame Flinger that well, so I stick with Siege Barracks. I know some of the people in my clan run Dark Crown, and it does fine for them. Some of them are running Siege, or sorry, the Flame Flinger, and it's working for them. So yeah, just go with whatever works for you. Last season, I was working with the Electro Boots instead of the Seeking Shield. I didn't actually have my Seeking Shield maxed out, but this season I've been running Seeking Shield almost exclusively with the Royal Champion, and again, that's just for setting the funnel. With the Seeking Shield, Royal Champion just gets a little bit more value with her Rocket Spears, and that helps you set up a good funnel with the defenses, right? I mean, you only need to funnel the defenses. You don't need to funnel any of the trash buildings because the army is only Dragon Riders. And I think that makes the attack simpler. If it's simpler, it's easier to use. If it's easier to use, it's easier to master. Easier to master, the higher you'll push. So, yeah, that's all I got. We're gonna jump into some replays. We're gonna go over 4 replays today, and I just want to talk about Totem. Alrighty. Okay, for replay 1, we're going against this Rage Core base. Let me get these decorations to fade away. So let's go over the principles of this attack again. The main priority is to charge your Dragon Riders as quickly as you can into the highest DPS section of the base, as quick as you can. The hope is that as you enter that highest DPS section, you're going to use your Warden ability. Warden ability, we have the Eternal Tome and the Healing Tome. So this is just negating all of the damage, but also healing our dragons up. And then I usually use my Minion Prince pretty close thereafter. A lot of times your army will still be inside of that highest DPS section as you're using the healing tome. And so using the minion prince ability a lot of times can kind of help your healing tome beat out the damage that your army is taking. Your army will be healing faster than it's taking damage. Kind of acting as like an extended eternal tome of sorts. With a base like this, it's a ring base. It's kind of hard to figure out how we're going to funnel this. My priority here is I'm looking at these different compartments around the ring and trying to figure out where is my army going to take the most damage if I were to leave it for the back end. And looking at this for the back end, our competitors, we've got this monolith compartment over here. I often find the multi-gear is pretty easy to deal with Dragon Riders, but that's a contender. And then we have this double wizard tower compartment. The wizard towers are pretty intense for the Dragon Riders. I think that they're a high ticket target, so I chose on this one to funnel out this left corner here with the Expo. Putting my queen here, I just shot a giant arrow through the core, kind of for no reason. I can't remember if I tried to shoot this air sweeper. Hopefully I did, because that's the obvious target would be to maybe hit this air defense and the air sweeper and this other air defense. And then we can put the Royal Champion just on this opposite corner here. And then we've got our funnel. We can drop our Dragon Riders by these gold mines and then push right into the core. Okay. So let's go ahead and watch that and we'll pay attention to the totem placements as we start that. Let me 2x this. I don't know when it starts. Okay, so it looks like we did go for that giant arrow. Kind of missed it, but oh well. Let's go back to single speed. One thing that I like to do is totem for the expos nearby my royal champion, just because the expos will just kind of drain your royal champion. So there goes the totem right there. You guys can see sometimes what I'll do when I'm starting out an attack, I will check the range of the expo and then I'll drop a totem just inside of the range before I start my royal champion. Just that way I'm only catching the expo. Um, that's something I've been doing more recently. One thought that I kind of have for that is that a lot of times the totem will outlast most other things, which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes with that totem sitting alone by itself on the outside of the base, it'll drag clan castle troops. In this case, since it's so far from the clan castle, it's probably just a waste. So putting a totem closer to the defenses, pulling the damage from like the Tesla, probably a bit more valuable in this case. So I love to keep the Giant Giant alive. Giant Giant does crazy work. The Guardian was on the Giant Giant. You can see he's about to go down. Queen's about to go down. Anytime you can keep your heroes alive, it's just more value. So keep them alive as long as you can, but you kind of have to pick and choose. What's going to be worth the investment of a totem? In this case, I put a totem down for the Guardian. I'm not too sure if it's too good of an investment, but let's see how it does here. Army goes in quickly thereafter. So I'm wanting to use my Warden ability in the core of the base. I'll bet that I'm going to drop some totems probably right behind this builder hut to drag the fire of both of the wizard towers. That way I'm just taking less damage on my dragons. That helps me delay the Warden ability. But RC finished setting up the funnel. That's perfect. We're just going to head straight into the core. Okay, there goes the ability. And look at this. We caught the queen in the ability. So the queen's actually going to heal back so much. Now, as the Eternal Tome is tapering off, like I was saying earlier, I'm hitting the Minion Prince ability. This is just going to slow things down and help us continue to get better value out of our Healing Tome. Otherwise, the Healing Tome, like we've got the Revenge Tower here. The Bomb Hive is right behind. That's going to be doing a lot of damage. But we're just going to get more value out of this. Now, as we put down the totems, some things that I'm looking at, these fire spitters are just beating away at the army. So I'm going to put some totems in this compartment right in front of the fire spitter, but kind of back behind closer to the expo. That way I can drag the fire from the spitter kind of back towards the clan castle and away from the army. We're obviously going to put a totem right behind the revenge tower and hopefully catch the bombs here as well. One issue is that this is going to cook these pretty quick, especially if the fire spitter hits that same totem. Those totems will go down really quick, so you'll have to watch it pretty carefully. I can't quite see the Guardian at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on there, but always check the Guardian. You want to make sure you're not taking too much fire from him. So uh, let's watch for that. Yep, so there we go. There's the totems exactly where I said. We got one behind the Revenge, two pulling the fire spitters. Looks like we did also put one right down on the Guardian there. Okay, let's keep moving through this. Totem goes down behind the revenge, so we just replace it. Same thing with the fire spitters. As soon as it goes down, we just replace it. Okay, revenge tower goes down again, we replace it. Okay, the bomb hive can destroy your army. It does so much damage. So I like to be really careful and put totems right in front of where the bombs are going to come out. We've got so many dragon riders left alive right now, like coming out of this, so many dragon riders. We're out of totems, so chances are because we're out of totems, most of the dragon riders are going to be dead. But as I was mentioning with the meteor staff equipment, like the minion prince is still alive. Like he's gonna beat away at these storages. The storages have a lot of hit points, and so we're just gonna get value with the meteor staff. And we have just enough dragon riders. Like this is perfect. We take it out. Monolith will go down. The dragon riders are probably gonna go down as well since we've still got the minion prince, but because the monolith goes down, one air defense is not going to take out a full health minion prince, so that's a triple. Okay, let's hop into the next. Alrighty. Okay, bases like this are just easy to figure out. I mean, look at this. Where am I going to attack from? The fire spitters are facing away in this direction, and so are the air sweepers. So it's like, yeah, we've got the monolith and the wizard towers back here and two rage cores. I get it, two rage cores can be kind of scary, but we're avoiding both fire spitters here. That just seems too hard to give up. Um, it it's kind of thick with defenses here on this side, so it might be hard to funnel. Chances are the Dragon Riders are going to split in every which direction, but I think that's fine. I mean, all of the air defenses are close by, so they should be pretty healthy coming out of the split. And then with everything spread out over here, we don't have to worry too much about splash damage. Splash is only really an issue if your army is clumped up, um, but we've got totems, so we're just going to totem through it. So I chose to giant arrow out two air defenses. We're just narrowing the funnel. Since all of that stuff on the left side is gone, we can just guarantee that if the Dragon Riders do split, they're just going to stay close to the core still. We do exactly what I talked about in that last one. We're going to drop the totem to drag the Expo, and then RC goes in, and she just starts working. So this totem placement in particular was pretty crucial because it's pulling the defending RC. You do have to be careful about where you're putting your royal champion for setting the funnel because if she goes against a defending hero, she will just kind of get cooked. So army goes in. I almost missed it, but again, there was that bomb or that totem in front of the bomb hive just to save some damage on the Dragon Riders. And the Royal Champion here is still pretty healthy. That totem did exactly what it needed to. We took out the defending RC. We took out, using all the rocket spears, took out a bunch of defenses. So she's got the Phoenix on her. She's just going to run over to this right side. And at this point, like, it's not really worth using totems to keep my Royal Champion alive, especially because she's going up to a multi-archer tower. If you put a totem by a multi-archer tower, it'll pull one of the three shots, and then the other two shots are just going to be on something. And that multi-archer tower will honestly probably still take out the rest of the Royal Champion. But because Royal Champion has that Phoenix, we can clear out probably these three defenses, maybe even trigger the Rage. So we'll just leave her be. Obviously, Totem on the Guardian. Guardian's doing splash to the whole army. As we come up a little bit farther here, we pop the Minion Prince because the dragons are all healthy. Like, why waste my Eternal Tome and Healing Tome when I don't have anything to heal here? So now we pop it because we're starting to get into that rage compartment, and I just want to be ready. I don't want to take any crazy damage in that rage compartment. Okay, army splits here. Left side right here isn't in too much danger. The Minion Prince is over there, Queen is over there, a bunch of Dragon Riders. I am going to be careful about this Wizard Tower. That's why we put a totem behind the Wizard Tower, okay? So watch the totems that you put down. If there's a defense that you don't want to take damage from, watch it, because when the totem dies, you're going to want to replace that totem with another totem. Otherwise, your army is just going to go down. Okay, this side of the army, all of these dragons are pretty low, and that's kind of a concern. They're probably not going to get through this. multi-archer tower, and the defending minion prince is over here. So I'm going to use totems over here on this right side because we can get some value, but I'm not going to use very many totems. My main priority is really keeping the left side alive. Okay, watch that totem by the wizard tower go down, and we just replace it. Okay, we're done using totems on the right side. Okay, totem goes behind this next wizard tower. And again, I'm watching it because once it goes down, we replace it. Okay, minion prince is a big target here. And look at this, like I'm just spamming totems down because we've got 3 totems left and the attack is finished, right? Minion prince is still up. Queen is still green health right there. There's the triple. Totally crushed. Alrighty. Well, as you can guess, this is a pretty popular base. Um, I hate to make it such a theme in the videos, but it's the replay that I opened. So this is the replay that we're just going to review. You guys already know how I like to hit this base. We're gonna go heroes on these opposite corners, set the funnel. Again, like the most obvious place to enter is going to be by these bomb towers. Like we're gonna enter, we're gonna clear out the multi-gear tower, the monolith. Hopefully push through these fire spitters really quickly, and that'll be that. Exactly like the last attack, we'll save some totems for the back end on these rage. We'll be dropping the totems behind the wizard towers. Um, Let's see how this one goes. We'll just 2x this one. I don't want to bore you guys too much. Maybe one thing I will talk about, this army is 100% weak to double poison core bases. I was FCing a guy in my clan earlier today, and he had a double poison core base, 2 poison towers in the core of the base. That was so difficult, genuinely. With a base like that, a lot of times I end up popping my Eternal Tome as I'm entering the core of the base. And then Minion Prince will kind of happen some point after that. Um, and man, like with a double poison core base, you just need to use the Eternal Tome and the Healing Tome after you've been hit by the poisons. And in order to use it after you've been hit by the poisons, you really have to use it as you're exiting the core of the base, or like after your army is just fully embedded in the core of the base. And that requires you to save that Warden ability. And in order to save your Warden ability, you have to take less damage at the start of the attack. So the way that we tripled this base was in order to take less damage at the start of the attack, we invest more totems at the start of the attack, which is really different from what I'm used to doing with this attack strategy. Normally, I'm saving my totems, we Eternal Tome through a high DPS section, and then use all of the totems at the back end. I rely on using my abilities early because a lot of times the army splits. And so if the army splits, then you're not getting the value that you really need from the Eternal Tome. And so that's why you want to use it earlier. And so with double poison, you got to funnel really good and then use that ability just really at the perfect time. Okay, I totally forgot on this hit that nothing took out the town hall here, but I mean, it's still a triple, so like who even cares? Oh geez, okay, let's 4x this. Chasing these balloons all over the place, good heavens. All right. Okay, let's get into the last one. All right. Okay, so this is an interesting base. It's sort of similar to that last layout that we see a lot. I mean, we see lots of bases that are kind of similar to these sorts of layouts. I just hit these always the same. If the sides, the edges of the base are really shallow like this one, then I love to just use my rocket spears to pick off a fire spitter if you can. Because I mean, just look at the funnel that we've created right here. If I drop my dragon riders around like 1 to 3 o'clock right up here, this top corner, maybe by the army camps and the barracks and the laboratory, like they're going to push through these defenses and then go straight into the core because there's no defenses over here where the RC is. She's just taken all that out. Setting up the funnel on the left side is a little bit trickier because we really need to get into that expo if we want to complete the funnel. So a lot of times with this base, you have to be careful. You can't drop your army in too hastily, otherwise the funnel won't work out too well. And there's just so much in here, like these 3 infernos, the rage, the poison. We need to get our warden ability on the core of this base. Okay. Sometimes I'll even put, you can see it right there on the left side. I'll put a dragon rider in just to help funnel that side. Probably a useless dragon rider. I probably should have put it closer to the siege barracks. Giant finishes the funnel like in the nick of time. You know, our army's ready to go into the core and it just barely finishes. So we're taking some damage. I lost some dragon riders, so I'll probably use the ability a little bit too late. But after the 8 seconds of that eternal tome is starting to wear off, that's when we pop the minion prince ability and start putting totems down. When I'm looking at this, like where do the totems really need to go? In the core, since the revenge tower is already got down, we only really need to drag the fire from the guardian. There's not really any point in dragging the fire from the inferno towers, like you can't. So I'm just going to be looking for that, and I mean, maybe I'll be looking to totem on the bomb hive because that's just going to slam the dragons as they come through the core. But like we've got 10 totems, and 10 totems as we come out here, the only things we really need to totem is like maybe putting a totem between this air defense and scatter shot to pull that one, totem to block the bomb hive, totem behind the wizard tower. And if we put it behind the wizard tower, we can probably pull this air defense as well. And those are kind of the only spots that I need totems for. Totems go in specific places, and then you watch them. When they die, you replace them because if they die, you start taking damage from them. So now bear in mind, look at this right over here where the siege barracks is. The siege barracks is going to pop pretty soon, and we've got defending heroes over here. Now, defending heroes are tough for the dragon riders, but not for the siege barracks. So the siege barracks will clean that up, and this is just going to be a nice triple. Now, this air defense, or sorry, air sweeper, um, kind of was an issue, making us spend more time than we wanted to spend in the core of the base. I used the Warden ability a little bit too late, so a lot of our dragon riders are dead here, but we've got a bunch of totems left. You can see totems going down in those places that I was talking about. There's a totem right here. I dropped a totem right here, actually, to pull the minion prince over to it, just to try to avoid taking damage from that one. We're down to 4 totems. As long as we can get through the bomb hive in this wizard tower, and then maybe put a totem right here. Look, you can see it going down right there to pull the air defense. The super minions will get through that air defense, and once those 2 defenses in the bomb hive go down, we're chilling. Okay, minion prince takes out the bomb hive and gets hit by an air mine. That's unfortunate. But queen is still green health. Okay, actually, queen. I guess queen's gonna go down to the king right here. So maybe I shouldn't have mentioned her, but that's all you need. I mean, look at that. That's all you need. That's a triple. That's all you need. Well, anyway, thanks so much, guys. Hopefully this helps. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to know or learn about this army. Um, I'll do some live Legends hits. I don't know if I'll commentate them. Maybe I'll voice over them because who knows how well I'll play with live commentary. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Shoot all your questions out into the comments. I'll try to answer them. Take care, guys.